Let's bring in the congressman from Florida's 17th District, Representative Greg Steube. Welcome to Victory News. Congressman, you're a veteran. Thank you for your service. What do you make of the 101st Airborne doing drills near the Ukraine border under live fire? Is our nation drawing closer to troop involvement with this Ukraine-Russia war?
Well, I sure hope not. The American people do not support boots on the ground in Ukraine. Congress certainly hasn't voted to give the president authorization to be able to declare war or do that in Ukraine. We have not supported boots on the ground in Ukraine. We have obviously approved aid and certain weapons to go to Ukraine, but not boots on the ground there. I would ask the president that if he intends on doing that, and that is the plan, to involve Congress in that decision, as Congress has the power under our Constitution to declare war.
Exactly. Now, let me get an update, sir, from the hurricane that went through Florida. Could you give our viewers an update on the recovery efforts from Hurricane Ian in your district and how things are going in Florida?
Well, thankfully, everybody that can get power has power. Cell phone towers are back up. Communication is back up. So that is good. But I was in Inglewood just a few days ago, and every single house has a blue tarp on it. Fences are down. I'm still working on my own house. It's going to take. It's been almost a month. Come Thursday, it'll be a month since the storm came through. It's going to take a considerable amount of time to rebuild and repair, but we have great resolve here in Southwest Florida. The great thing is we've got communication and power back, and the amount of influx of the American people coming down here and supporting the type of things that we need here to rebuild has been. It brings you back to the patriotism that this country has.
Well, and you have probably the best governor in the entire United States that's leading that retire effort there. If people still want to be involved in helping with the recovery, how would they do that?
There's a number of different not-for-profits that are down here. 8 Days of Hope is actually out of my church area, where they're sheltered there and then going out as people need it. The Southern Baptist Convention Disaster Relief, I had the opportunity to tour them. They have an excellent organization and operation that, quite frankly, is impressive to a former military man of what they were able to do. The one day I was there, they had served 12,500 meals at one location in Inglewood. So there's several different not-for-profits that are stationed here, still here, providing food, shelter, tarps, whatever it is that the people in the community need, the hands and feet of Jesus in the church right here in my district.
That's wonderful. Now, I want to ask you about something here. You tweeted how many more women and girls will be injured before the left wakes up in response to a young woman being injured by a boy playing girls volleyball in North Carolina. Tell us about your legislation to address this problem.
Yeah, it's a really sad day in America where you actually have to have a piece of legislation to say that biological men cannot compete against biological women in collegiate or high school athletics. But unfortunately, that's where we are in our country. And my bill is very simple. It just would not allow any Title IX activities with his university, college, or high school athletics to allow a biological male compete with women. Title IX was created about 50 years ago in the 70s to allow for women's sports, and has gotten women's sports to where it is today. And allowing biological men to compete in women's sports completely undermines what Title IX was created to do all along. And the real crux and the hook there is, if a university or a college or any institution that receives federal funding doesn't comply with that piece of legislation, they lose their federal funding.
Okay, now I want to ask you this. Joe Biden's looking for more tax dollars from you and I, this time to pay for other countries to become greener in their energy use. I want you to listen to this, and I'll come back to you.
We've got to help these countries do what they need to do without further hurting the environment. And we have to pay them, in my view. We have to compensate them for what they're doing.
Congressman, how can we afford to throw money at countries when we can't afford our own energy in the United States?
We absolutely can't. He's declared war on domestic production of oil and gas. If we just turned our own domestic production of oil and gas, our inflation, our economy would be so much better right here in this country. When I first got elected to Congress 4 years ago, the deficit was $21 trillion. Today, in 4 short years, it's $31 trillion. He spent $6 trillion on top of continuing resolutions, $10 trillion just in the 2 years that he's been in office. We cannot sustain this level of spending. We certainly can't increase spending and just give money away to other countries for their far-left progressive Green New Deal type policies.
Congressman Steube from Florida, sir, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
Mike,
anytime.
Back to you.